Anyway, let's talk a little Watchmen here.
Hey, set it up politically. Why not?
Exactly.
I mean, Watchmen
There you
is
go.
not.
Watchmen is political?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How
I've been
dare
watching
I don't know if
the
people
show
have been
where
aware of this.
Hashtag not my Watchmen.
Not my Watchmen.
Have you
Okay.
guys been seeing that?
Is that a thing?
Is that really?
Not my Watchmen.
Of course it's a thing. What is there Watchmen not political? Is there Watchmen? What is it about?
Oh, their
Rorschach's the good guy.
their Watchmen doesn't deal with racial issues.
Ah.
So not my Watchmen.
Wait, so which Watchman is that?
The Watchmen that.
I don't know. Every time I see it, if you guys haven't seen it yet, I in my head think, not my Watchmen. Like,
All right, I'm just going to
somebody
go
just
ahead and
snapped
put.
me.
You're bringing
not
back your
my-
inner Josh
My
McCougan.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Not my Wash, exactly. But Watchmen aired its 5th episode last night, and for the people who got screeners for Watchmen that are critics, they have seen 6 of them so far. We found that out from Haley,
Right.
and Haley said of the 6 she has seen, that episode 5 and 6 were the best. I have to agree that last night, after seeing episode 5, that I think it's the best episode of the show thus far, and that's saying something because I think the show is freaking amazing.
It is really good.
Dee, how did you feel about episode 5?
I love the show, and it's interesting because the first episode, I don't know if it was because of my expectations that I thought it was fine. Like the first episode, I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this, but as we progressed in the show, it's just gotten so good. It's so smart. It's just so well written. I think
I feel like you didn't you say you loved Looking Glass early on? That you loved that character? Or was that
I don't
you,
think
Riley?
I said that.
I might have. I do love him.
Yeah.
I think you
he's.
said that.
And I love that this episode is about him.
Right.
And that you peel back the layers on what happened to him, why he wears what he wears, and I'm going to try to speak vague on this. If you haven't seen it, no spoilers. But it was fascinating to me.
I guess it was kind of an Easter egg, but did you notice that they revealed in the episode that Looking Glass is meant to actually be the Tim Blake? He is Tim Blake Nelson, the actor in our reality.
Okay.
Oh.
In the Watchmen reality, the same man, Tim Blake Nelson, simply becomes Looking Glass. Which I thought was really interesting and cool way
you
to
know
kind
what?
of
I
play
thought that
Who
was
is
a
your
good
favorite
twist.
character in the new show? Man.
I now see what happens. Yeah, go. Sorry.
Squid.
Okay.
Oh, you like Squid.
I liked him in Rocket Power. I like him in Watchmen.
What was your favorite thing that Squid did in this episode?
Fall out of the sky.
He did it very well. Yeah, I would definitely
it's
agree with
like-
that.
Look at you, you're
you
like,
know what
nailed it.
You could have stuck with this episode with 2 people having sex with each other because, again, I don't want to spoil, but we watched some things go down on screen in this episode.
things.
We watched some things happen.
Like sex stuff? Not allowed to watch that stuff yet.
Big ass.
No.
At what age are you allowed to start?
45.
Good parenting.
15 years and I'm in.
Now I've got to take notes on how to parent.
Yeah.
Don't let them have sex
Yeah.
until 45.
Yeah.
But
40
take
years
them
old,
to
milk and
Hooters
pacifier.
early on.
Yes, very
Yeah.
true.
If it seems like they're getting radicalized.
Cody, did you watch Watchmen?
Oh, I love this shit so much.
Did you
Yeah.
like this
It's a good
episode
show.
best so far or no?
Yeah, I think so. It's between this and episode 3, I think, are my 2.
Okay. 3 was pretty great.
Yeah.
I liked the odd one out, I guess. I liked 2 a lot as well.
I like
thought
2.
that 2 was excellent. But I think that this one was really cool, especially for non-Watchmen reader watchers. If this is your first
Right.
iteration of Watchmen, I think that this one did a really great job of stepping us back and explaining without having too much expose, but explaining what was happening.
Because I do wonder how it is for people, for the non-comic book readers, right? Like how many people are started watching the show and don't know what the hell's going on, but they're still watching, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm curious as to
My
like what
fiancé.
the percentage is. So she's watching it and liking it, and she's never
She's
read the book.
loving it, never read the book. This episode in particular, we had to pause and I had to give a 15-minute kind of recap.
Right.
Because she was so fascinated. And then
What part did you need to explain?
Tim
it's
Blake
a big it's a big spoiler
The
for that
flying
episode.
squid.
Is it a specific character?
No, it's a specific squid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you also loved the squid.
A squid
character.
specific.
specific squid.
Squid thick.
Squid specific.
I mean, there's
Squid.
something that
Squid
happens,
pipic,
you know,
yeah.
that there's a direct reference to the comic book. And at that moment, that's when Julie went, wait, what? And I go, okay, let's pause this.
Right.
And we talked a little bit about it. And now she started looking up Watchmen graphic novels on Amazon because she wants to read it.
Good
Wow.
for
So
her.
that,
She
Awesome.
can borrow mine if she wants.
Oh, can I?
Yes,
Yes,
100%.
please. Absolutely.
The Lady Night Looking Glass interactions this episode
It's fantastic.
was probably my favorite thing I've seen on screen in a really long time, especially towards the end of the episode with what happens.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I Regina King for all the
She's a
Emmys.
fucking badass, man.
So good.
And it's like Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross like wrote a score that's appropriate for Regina King.
God, this score
You know
keeps getting better and better.
I don't quite remember though what did happen with the two of them. Ben, can you remind me what happened with Regina King
With Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
No, Tim Blake Nelson and Regina King. What happened in this episode?
They went to Disneyland.
And then what happened?
They went on Space Mountain.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
that's what I was talking about. That scene on Space Mountain, the tension was lit.
Well, you
Really
know,
good
I
score
see
during
I don't know
other-
why they had to show the whole ride in a 1080p POV.
I think that it's really good use of their money.
Yeah, I just feel like either do a lights on ride through, or if you're going to have lights off, like use a camera that has a light on it.
Right, because
it was
it
mostly
was very dark.
You
It
could
was like
see
Alien
the
versus
dim,
Predator.
the faint
It was
outline,
really
and you
dark.
could see the little dots from the stars. but it
Maybe
wasn't.
you should start a hashtag on Twitter and say release the Lindelof
Not my Watchmen. Lights on Space Mountain on my Watchmen personally.
Well, I understood why they did that because, you know, Dr. Manhattan being on Mars, so we think, Space Mountain being,
Exactly.
you know, space.
Have they said who's playing Dr. Manhattan yet?
Not yet.
Let's talk Adrian for a second.
Okay.
How do you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
feel about him this episode? And that
The big
scene,
reveal?
that big
Yeah, the non-spoiler. Oh man, I guess that the thing I love about it so much is that it keeps surprising me, and that happens rarely now, especially when it comes to comic book stuff. You know, because like you not only know what direction they're going, but they're taking something from a very beloved property, and they're just doing their own spin, and that rarely goes right, and that's just very impressive.
I agree. Any other thoughts on Watchmen before we move on?
I'm wondering, speaking of Dr. Manhattan, I'm wondering, it's like it seems to be leading somewhere, which I love, but I want to go back to what you queued up, and that's Jeremy Irons is fantastic in this
He's
thing.
so great.
Adrian Ozymandias is... There's something going on here that I find fascinating that I have no idea.
I haven't figured it
None.
out. Yeah.
And that is what I love, is that we are getting to a point now where it's like, you said it, Dorina, everything is a surprise. That these episodes all end, and I'm like, where are we going? And that's so wonderfully refreshing
Yeah.
and to see this in a series like this.
Well,
How many
Especially with an
episodes are they
actor like
doing?
that.
8,
Is it 8?
Oh, that's a short
9.
season.
9.
9.
8
Wow,
or
I
9.
said it with
Pick
such.
an even number,
I
guys.
said it with such
Come on.
authority. I
I
think
know.
he's right, though. I think they did say
Jumped
9.
in.
Yeah.
8. It's 8.
No,
Is it 9?
I do think it is actually 9. Now that Cody said that, Cody, are you messing with me, or it's really 9?
I'm looking it up to make sure, but I'm
might-
pretty sure it's 9.
Yeah, it
9
might
sounds
be.
right. I noticed when you looked up the
is
hashtag for Not My Watchmen,
Yeah.
there were several pro-Trump, Not My Watchmen people, and I'm just curious, like,
Well, the hashtag didn't go very far.
What did they miss in the Watchmen graphic novel?
Actually, the hashtag did not go very far.
didn't.
It
Okay.
just kind of ended
That
right
makes
here.
sense.
Maybe a
The
bot made it.
hashtag often appears on IG story. I see.
Oh,
Interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like read the Wikipedia page for like fascism, just like at it, just to. I feel like those people just maybe there's something
Not
they
my
missed in the first
Watchmen.
in
Not
the
my
book or
Watchmen.
like.
It's a wash.
Read the book, too.
Cool.
So would you guys say this is your favorite TV show right now?
I think yes, actually. I do think so, because I try to rate it based on when I watch things, and I watch Watchmen. It's the only show that I watch live right now.
Who watches Roxy watching The Watchmen?
Nobody, because I'm alone.
Oh.
So there's that. So thanks for pointing that out, D.
I was just trying to quote the book.
Air horn would have also been pretty funny there, just like just a punch up. No.